All right, Christian. So tell me what happened.
Um, so yesterday, I don't know what day it is in Israel, maybe 8 or so, ran out of clothes. So I need to do some laundry. So I talked to a guy at the front desk, and he said he gave me the name of this place called Mr. Clean. So I go, he gave me direction. He said, you go this way, you go this way, you go this way. I say, okay. So I'm following the directions, and I don't find Mr. Clean's. And so I asked a local shopkeeper, Jewish guy. I was like, "Hey, tell me, Mr. Clean." He has no idea. So as I'm talking to this guy, kind of turned towards his shop, I get this feeling that typically when the Holy Spirit speaks to me, he'll like lift my attention like off of what I'm focusing on, and almost like above kind of where I am, to where whatever I was just thinking of, even if I was talking to someone like deep in conversation, I'll just be out of it. And then like I know that he wants to like set it somewhere else. So right then I kind of felt this guy like walk past me, and I turn around, and like it like dropped on him, and I just heard the name Martin of Tours, who, as you know, is a famous historical figure. And, so I just yelled out. I said, "Martin of Tours!" Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? And a guy turns around, and he looks at me, and I just like, "You know where a laundromat is, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do. Come, follow me." So I'm walking with him, and he goes, "Hey, how you know my name?" He's like, I was like, oh, I was just laughing, and he was like, "Seriously, how you know my name?" I was like, I'll tell you later. I was feeling really just a core value of mine. Like, it doesn't matter what you say until he knows that you care. So I'm like, I just want to love this guy first, be the gospel, and then I'm going to tell him the gospel. So he already saw that, I got his name, and he's interested now. And so he keeps asking me as we're walking, but we're just talking, and he's like, and I was asking him about the laundromat, and there was a guy whose shop was right near his shop, and went there, and he's like, "Don't worry, I cover it. Like, I'll pay for your laundry." And so the guy's like, "Yeah, come back. It'll be done by 3." So he's like, "Hey, you come to my shop now. You come to my shop. I wanna talk to you." So I was like, "Yeah, for sure." Totally felt the Lord on it. I had to be at a meeting that we were doing a healing school, but I was like, "This is what God's doing right now, so I'm gonna stay here." And so I go over to his shop. He has like a fabric and rug shop, and this he's Arabic. He's a Muslim, and so, he comes in, he's like, "Hey, you want tea?" So he orders some tea from the local little tea guy, and we go up he's showing me his shop, and like he has like 3 shops right next to each other, and then we're going upstairs in one shop, and we go up to the roof. He's like, "We'll have tea on the roof." So we go sit on the roof, which is super cool, and we're up on the roof in Jerusalem, and there's people walking all around. There's Orthodox Jews walking by, and there's a police little tower up there, and he's kind of telling me about the area. And, we're now in like the Muslim quarter area, but it's right in the middle of kind of everything. We're right in the middle of all the different areas, and so I just start asking him and just start talking to him, and he's telling me about his family, about his wife, and how they got married, and now his children. And he has these shops by day, and he works at the Hyatt as a masseuse outside of Jerusalem, about, he said, like 20 kilometers. It's the Hyatt Hotel, Western Hotel. He does that at night, and he's just telling me all this stuff, really kind of opening up. I'm asking him, I'm super interested in history, and he's talking to me about the history of his people. Like, his ancestors have been here for a couple thousand years, and just funny, like his ancestors used to be Christians, and then 150 years ago they changed to Islam. And he was telling me how that happened. I was asking him all about this, and just all kinds of funny stuff. And then he's asking, and then he asked me, like, he was talking to me about his wife, and he was like trying to set me up with some girl, and I'm like, "No, I'm just not interested. Like, no thanks, I'm good." And he's like, "Why?" And so I kind of got to share with him like my testimony about like how I came to the Lord, and where I was in my life before that, and what's changed, and how I live my life, and just talk to him about Jesus. And he was like, and he got back to it. He's like, "How do you know my name?" And I was like, "Okay, I'll tell you now." And I was like, well, Jesus told me your name because I have the mind of Christ. And so literally as I think things in my union with Christ, that literally the thoughts that I have are thoughts of him. And so my thought was that name, which was actually your name. And his name was Martin. And he's like, tell me something else. He's like, tell me something else. So I was like, all right. So then I just started prophesying over him. Started telling him about his family, about his father who passed away, and then started prophesying like future stuff about his shop. He kept telling me he was a man of peace, that he wanted peace, and so I prophesied some stuff about how his shop was going to be a place of peace, was going to cause peace, God was going to bless his shop, and through that blessing, people were going to see the blessing on his life and his desire and longing for peace. And so we just talked about, the kingdom and kingdom principles and stuff like that. And then he was like, he had to get to work at that point. This was early, and I had to go to the meeting. So he was like, come downstairs, and he's like, bless my shop. So he's like, I started like praying over his shop, and he started bringing like fabric. He's like, touch this, touch this, touch this. So I'm touching all that fabric, just blessing it. And he's like, come back later. I was like, yeah, we have a break. I got to get my laundry at like 3, 4-ish. He's like, I'll be done at 4. You come, you get laundry, we'll have tea again. I said, okay, good. So I was like, I love that. This is like, this is one of my favorite things that we've done this whole trip, just hanging out with this guy. And so I came back, got my laundry, came over to his shop, and we just sat down and had another cup of tea, which this tea that he kept getting was the most amazing tea ever. It's like mint leaves in it, just legit. And, so we have another cup of tea and just sit down, and we're just chatting and just kind of like small talk, just getting to know him and talking about history and about his view on Islam and why his family changed from Islam to Christianity, and about just a lot of the negative things that have happened in the historical past of Christianity, which everything he's saying is absolutely true. But I just got to talk to him about grace and about love and about I wasn't trying to change his mind or anything. I just wanted to love this guy. And in the end, my whole focus was like, I just want to be Jesus. I just want to be Jesus to him. And in the end, I was like, it was getting close to dinner time. I had to come back to go to dinner. We had another meeting, and I was just like, hey, like, you really like me, huh? Like you really like who I am? And he's like, yeah, I like who you are. And I was like, you know that Jesus lives in me. Like, he lives in me. And he was like, okay, like, I hear what you're saying. Like a God, I don't really understand it. But I was like, if you want the same Jesus that lives in me will also live in you. And he was like, I want. So I was like, all you gotta do is just say, Jesus, come and live inside of me. And so he just prayed that prayer. He said, Jesus, come and live inside of me. And he had to go to his other job, and I had to go, and we gave each other a big bear hug, and we're on our way.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.